Construction is one of the oldest industries on the planet, but it's got this very modern, very expensive problem: information chaos. So today, we're going to dig into a special kind of AI that acts like a digital superintendent, and it's aiming to completely change how we build, right from the ground up.
Just stop and think about that for a second. What if every single person on your job site, from the new hire to the seasoned pro, had instant access to every lesson, every mistake, and every success your company has ever had? That's the real promise here. It's not about replacing people. It's about arming them with decades of hard-won experience right in their pocket.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dive into the massive data problem that's costing the industry billions. Then, we'll look at why standard AI is absolutely the wrong tool for this job. After that, we'll introduce the right one, RAG. We'll see it in action. And finally, we'll talk about how this becomes a huge strategic asset for your business.
Look, any large construction site is a whirlwind of information. It's a crazy dance of blueprints, safety codes, RFIs, emails, you name it. And when all that information is scattered and disconnected, you get this massive problem of delays, rework, and frankly, a ton of risk. A single wrong document can literally cost millions.
I mean, picture this. A subcontractor spends 3 days pouring concrete, following a blueprint from last week. Problem is, an updated version got emailed out yesterday. That's not just a simple mistake, right? That's a huge, expensive demolition and rework, all because they were working off the wrong piece of paper.
Or how about RFIs, those requests for information? The structural team gets one answer from the architect about a certain grade of steel, but the procurement team gets a slightly different one. All of a sudden, you've got chaos. You're ordering the wrong materials and progress just grinds to a halt. And if that wasn't enough, the rules themselves are always changing. The International Building Code gets updated every few years. Local rules can change even faster. Making sure every single person on that site is following the absolute latest safety standard, well, that's a monumental task.
So the obvious thought is, hey, let's just throw some AI at this problem. But dropping a generic large language model, an LLM, onto a construction site, that's kind of like giving a master chef a hammer and asking them to cook a 5-star meal. It is just fundamentally the wrong tool for a high-stakes, precision-driven world.
And here's why it doesn't work. A standard AI's knowledge is basically frozen in the past. It has no idea that the building code was just updated last month. It gives you generic advice, not an analysis based on your project's unique soil report. And maybe the biggest problem of all, its answers come from a black box. You have no idea where it got the information. And in construction, every single decision needs to be verified.
This leads to a really dangerous situation. Using a standard AI in construction isn't just a bad idea, it's a huge liability. An AI that hallucinates and makes up an incorrect concrete mixture or a safety spec that doesn't exist, that's not a tool. That's a risk that could lead to an absolute catastrophe.
So what is the right tool for the job? Well, this is where RAG comes in. It's a whole different approach to AI that's designed specifically to avoid all those problems, because it's built on the ground truth, the real data from your project and your company's actual experience.
RAG stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation, and that name explains exactly what it does. It's a two-step process. First, it retrieves. It goes and finds the correct, up-to-date facts from your private project files, your safety manuals, your blueprints. And only then does it generate a precise answer based exclusively on that verified information.
And this is so important. It's not just a fancy search bar. It's a digital superintendent. Think of it as an expert assistant that has read every single document, remembers every project you've ever done, and can give you clear, verifiable advice instantly. Okay, so let's get this out of the world of theory and onto an actual job site. What does this difference really look like when a project manager is under pressure and needs a critical answer, like right now?
So here's a perfect question. It's super specific, it's highly contextual. The answer isn't just some number you can Google. It depends on your location, your company's past experience, your specific methods. A generic answer is completely useless here.
Just look at the difference in the answers you get. It's night and day. A standard LLM gives you vague, generic tips about working in the rain. The RAG system, on the other hand, acts like your most experienced superintendent. It tells you, hey, your farm's projects in Mumbai averaged 45 days. It references your specific methodology for high humidity. It even warns you about drainage issues you had on a similar site and links you right to the report. That's not just an answer. That's verifiable, actionable intelligence from your own data.
And because the RAG system learns from your documents, it speaks your language. It actually knows what project code RESMUM234 means.
You can ask it about issues on that specific project, and it gets it, because it understands your company's internal shorthand.
So this level of precision and context, it completely transforms AI from some cool tech toy into a core strategic asset. The return on investment here is huge because you're creating a single source of truth that impacts everything: your costs, your safety, and your competitive edge.
The benefits are just so clear. You slash costly rework because everyone always has the right plan. You boost safety because real-time compliance checks are now possible. You preserve all that invaluable knowledge from your retiring veterans, making it accessible forever. And honestly, here's the real game changer. You are literally turning your past projects, even the ones with mistakes, into your future competitive weapon.
But you know, the biggest impact is on your people. This is all about making them better, faster, and safer. Onboarding new folks is way quicker because they can just ask the digital superintendent their questions. Decisions are smarter because they're based on your own data, not just gut feelings, and ultimately, your entire team just feels more empowered and effective.
When it all comes down to it, it's this simple. Every blueprint, every daily report, every lesson learned from a project 10 years ago, that's an investment. That accumulated experience is your company's single most valuable, unique asset. And RAG is the key that finally unlocks it for everyone.
Which really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Is your company's decades of experience an active tool that's helping you win the next bid and build safer and more efficiently? Or is it all just sitting there, buried in a server folder or a filing cabinet, completely untapped?